evening this morning, and welcome to a day one of fall camp review edition of the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor and smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, everybody. It's free, costs you nothing, and you get to know what we think. And of course, we want to know what you think about what we think. So make sure you leave a comment down in the comments section below. We are here. Football is finally here. We actually had the Hall of Fame game last night. And so we won't go another week without football until the month of February in 2026. This is what we've been waiting for here at the OHL podcast. And we assume if you're watching this video, it is also what you have been waiting for. What we have not been waiting for is for injury news to come out of Ohio State. But day one of fall camp, that was the big story as big defensive tackle Eddrick Houston, the five-star sophomore, went down with an apparent ankle injury, maybe a lower leg injury is what they're calling it. Appeared when you watch the film or the video that was surfacing around social media, it appeared he rolled his ankle, so it's probably a high ankle sprain. That is what I am assuming, because Pete Thamel has reported that he is fine. It's not a serious injury, and so that usually means typically it's day to day, or he's day to day at that point. There were some reports that he did not have his ankles taped. I do not have that confirmed one way or another. That was obviously something that was being reported earlier by some podcasts, that there was a possibility that maybe he didn't have his ankles taped. And in football and in most athletic sports at that level, especially the bigger guys, they almost always have their ankles taped. What this does bring up again, and it's something that we have spoke about here on this podcast time and time again. But since it was the off season and we were relatively healthy, we hadn't had the opportunity to remind everybody that Gene Smith's lasting legacy and the gift that continues to keep on giving is that he chose the worst possible field turf to play on. And he put it not only inside the horseshoe, but he put it on the practice facility at the Woody. Thanks, Gene. Continual lower body strains, injuries, pops, tears continue to happen on this playing surface. It's so bad that the NFL has ruled this type of uh, field turf to be illegal in the league. Eventually, Ohio State is going to have to bite the bullet, raise some more money, and get this crap off of the field. It's going to end up hurting recruiting. It's going to end up continuing to hurt players and chances for Ohio State to do things like they did last year and winning a national championship, winning Big Ten championships, because people are going to keep getting hurt and it's not worth it. So eventually, Ohio State is going to have to answer to that. But it appears for now we have dodged a bullet, and that Eddrick Houston is going to be just fine. Some other news and notes that I want to talk about. Of course, the big news is the quarterback competition between redshirt freshman Julian Sain and redshirt sophomore Lincoln Keenholz. And the reports are that that Keenholz looked a little better overall, looked a little bit more consistent in day number one, but that Julian Sain had moments where he looked like he had the best throw. So it continues to be the same story time and time again. Lincoln Keenholz is not going to let Julian Sain run away with this thing. Julian at times is struggling, but then he has flashes of brilliance. So the floor is obviously not as low with Lincoln, but nowhere near as high as the ceiling of Julian. And so I still think this is Julian Sain's competition to lose. I do. I think this is his starting position unless he falls flat on his face, and every time he makes a throw, like he did with Carnell Tate in the corner of the end zone, Ryan Day is reminded why he fell in love with this kid's film and his arm, and why he went to Alabama and then transferred here to Ohio State. He's just got that better of an arm than Lincoln. However, he does everything that Ryan asks him to do. He's consistent. He makes the routine throws. He's athletic. He's intelligent. So he's got all those traits. He's just not Julian, and he just doesn't have the arm talent as Julian. That's the reports that I'm getting. We'll see who wins out. We're going to go look at them ourselves in person in 2 days. And Chris and I will get a bird's eye view, and we'll make our own determination of who we think could win the starting position based off of what we see in practice number 3. But we're talking about practice number 1, and a big name that came out of practice number 1 is Bo Atkinson. If you are following the OHIO podcast, then you know that Bo's real name is Thor. That's right. He is known as Thor. We did an interview with the Heel Brothers, a sister podcast of the College Huddle, and their nickname for Bo Atkinson was Thor. That's how much they loved this kid. It was such a downer for them when he jumped in the portal and became a Buckeye. And boy, oh boy, did he impress a lot of people on day number 1. He was batting balls down. He was consistently in the backfield. He was reading his keys very well, was filling the gaps. He looked every bit the part of a power 4, upper echelon starting defensive lineman. Now, I say defensive lineman for 2 reasons. Yes, I know he's an end, but in North Carolina at Chapel Hill on third downs, they would kick him inside. So he knows how to play a little bit inside. Think a little bit about the way they would use Joey Bosa from time to time. On third downs, especially, sometimes they would kick Joey inside and create mismatches that they really liked on the Rushman package. Bo can kind of do a similar thing here. And so when you have the God of Thunder bring in the hammer, move him around, be creative with him. I think it's a great opportunity for him to push both Kenyatta Jackson Jr. and Caden Curry on the ends for starting time. But he's definitely going to be in the rotation, number 1, and number 2. He's versatile enough that you can kick him inside on third downs, and I love that about him. CJ Hicks obviously is 100% invested in being a defensive end rush guy, and he was sticking around after practice, and a lot of people saw him putting in the extra work, so that's good for him. I think he's definitely in the 2 deep, and I think that there's definitely a place for him maybe on third down on that Rushman package. Think about that. Think about Kenyatta Jackson on one end, CJ Hicks on the other, Bo Atkinson, the God of Thunder, Thor, bringing in a hammer on the inside with like an Eddrick Houston. That's good. That is really, really good. But he's not the only defensive end that raised eyebrows that people were not necessarily expecting. There were a handful of freshmen who also did the same, including Epi Sitin, I can't pronounce his last name, Citinelli. Citinelli. That's how I'm going to go with it right now. I'm probably wrong. I'm sorry, Epi, if that's the case. I will learn your name. It took me a while to also learn JT Tumulau, but I will also continue to try to learn yours as well. And I probably still don't have JT's name exactly perfect as well. But that's why we're known as uncultured swine here on the OHIO podcast. We live up to that moniker every time we try to pronounce a Polynesian name. But Epi looked great, and people were like, "Who is this kid?" Well, he was the UCLA commit that we flipped late in the 2025 cycle, and he comes in, big kid, 6'5", 200 plus pounds, uh, very athletic, and raised some eyebrows. Now, that goes along with some of the other defensive players who are freshmen who raised eyebrows. Obviously, Devin Sanchez, everybody knew he was the part. He looked the part. He acts the part. He's been called the Jeremiah Smith of the defensive side, meaning they think he's going to make an impact as a freshman right away, and that very well could be the case. But Devin Sanchez looked good today. Riley Pettijohn, the big linebacker, he looked good today as well. Both of them are true freshmen as well. Texas boys up here in Ohio doing work with Epi, who's a California kid, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Northeast Ohio kid, the running back Bo Jackson, continues to look good as well. And I've been very high on Bo Jackson. He was the one running back I absolutely wanted in this class. I'm glad we got him, and he looks like he is still making good strides. I think he's the third. I think he's the third guy in the room right now. I think, and that includes over Dixon Williams, and so Williams Dixon, Sam Williams Dixon, who's jumped in the portal and then jumped back to Ohio State, who's got a year up on Bo, but I still think you're looking at Bo being the third guy in that room right now, which means he's gonna get a lot of playing time, and I like to see that. Bo knows playing time, right? Bo knows playing time. One last thing I want to cover from the first day of fall camp, and that is Ryan Day met with the media after practice. Um, Ryan's press conferences at times, you can tell he doesn't enjoy the regular beat and answering their questions. From time to time, he might crack a smile and have a good laugh with one of the beat reporters, but on this day, he looked very agitated. Maybe it was because he didn't know um, the extent of the injury to Eddrick Houston yet, and he was obviously concerned about that because there's definitely a concern about the depth at defensive tackle. Maybe that was it. Maybe he's just tired of some of the same bums who ask the same stupid questions over and over and over again that he's not going to answer, nor will he answer. So he gives the same tired answers for them every single time, yet these guys continue to ask the same stupid questions. Maybe that's it. But you watch that video and then you compare it to when he's sitting down with 10 TV and doing a little presser, a one-on-one with Bobby Carpenter from the Fan and WBNS, and they're talking about things like how he doesn't dye his beard and he actually has starting to get grays in his beard. How the job can age you, and he's chuckling and he's laughing and he's having a good time with Bobby. I think he's just irritated with the beat. I really do. And I think some of the people on the beat are um, uncreative in their questioning. And so I think at some point he just gets tired of feeding them the coach speak, but he knows that he has to do that, so he puts up with it. Maybe that's a little bit of the attitude. I don't know, but he just didn't seem happy in that presser. And some people were quick to say, Ryan Day doesn't seem he already seems like he's agitated. Maybe he's upset about uh, Eddrick Houston. Why is he being like this? And on day one, shouldn't he be more excited, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And then you see him in another interview and he's chipper and he's laughing and having fun, and you're like, oh, okay. So it's probably the people who are just asking the questions more than likely. But I thought that was incredibly interesting. Um, but Ohio State is one day in of, I guess, defending the back to back. And again, once again he reiterated that this is a new team with a new set of goals, and they're chasing a national championship for themselves. They're not trying to defend one. They're trying to go win one for themselves, and I like that. I love that about this team. Oh, one more thing. Apparently, Jeremiah Smith's really, really good. In case you didn't know that. Apparently, he got bigger, he's stronger, and he's even faster this year. How that's even possible, I don't know. He's definitely the best player in college football, and he resides in Columbus, Ohio, playing for the Buckeyes. And this is really good news for Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham and anybody else who's going to be catching footballs inside the horseshoe this year, because all the attention is going to be on Jeremiah Smith. So pressure on the quarterback to make sure he gets the football in their hands, and pressure on Brian Hartline to make sure that he's getting the football into his playmakers' hands. Let us know what you think about what we think down in the comments section below. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. And we would love to continue to grow the channel. So please consider subscribing to the channel as we go into season number 7. Yeah, season number 7 of covering the Buckeyes here on the OHIO podcast. Appreciate all of you. Have a great Friday. We'll be back with another report from day number 2 tomorrow morning. And of course, Chris and I will be there ourselves with bells on, hanging out with all of you in Buckeye Nation, watching this year's 2025 team in practice number 3. Till next time, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. You all know what to do. OH. Go Bucks.